is Sudesh and my topic is applications of the interference and the polarization. First of all, I want to tell about the applications of the interference, and there is a lots of applications of interference. For example, with the help of interference we can find the refractiveness of the any liquid or a gases. And another one, with the help of interference we can find the wavelength of any light with 8 significant figures. In other hand, another application is to find the flatness of a surface. Fine.
Testing the flatness.
Testing the flatness of the surface. How? Whether the surface is whether it is a flat or a convex or a concave. How it is possible? Consider a component which you want to find the surface of the component. Fine, this is a component. Place an optical flat, which is a flat substance with some angle. Then incident a light. Then this light refracted at the edges of the optical flat, and it is refracted. And another ray refracted at the edge of the optical flat, and it goes incident on the component, and it is again refracted back. And these two rays gets the interference pattern. In interference, we all know that there is a fringes, either a dark fringe or bright fringe. Based on these fringes, we can classify the surface of the any substance. For example, if the fringes is equidistant to each other, if the fringes is like this, like equidistant to each other, then the surface is like flat surface. When the fringes curves towards the contact edge. This is the contact edge. When these fringes curves towards the contact edge, then the surface is concave surface. In other hand, when these fringes curve away from the contact edge, then the surface is convex. Based on these fringes pattern, we can classify the surface of the any component like flat or concave or a convex. It is one of the applications of the interference. And another one, topic is testing the lens surface. How? What is the testing the lens surface is? In other hand, we can say that testing the manufacture of the lens, whether it is perfectly grounded or polished, whether it is manufactured correctly or is there any defect. Like this, it is the interference helps to know whether the manufacture is correct. For example, consider a lens. Oh, sorry, I forgot. In other hand, interference and also Newton rings also plays a main role in this application. With the help of the Newton rings, we can find the manufacture of the optical components like a telescope or etc. Consider a lens. It is placed on a master. And what is a master? Master is an optical flat. It is like a cylindrical shape. It is a cylindrical shape. It is made up of the quartz. Quartz is normally composed of the silica. But the lens is placed on a master. When the light is incident on the lens, similarly, the light reflected at the edge of the lens, and another ray get refracted at the lens and incident on the master, and it gets refracted again. We all know that when a plano convex lens is placed on the plain glass plate, when the light is incident on the lens, we get the Newton rings. With the help of these Newton rings, we can find the manufacture is perfect or is there any defect. For example, when the Newton rings have the circular shape, all the Newton rings when the Newton rings does not have any defect, right, like this, then the lens is perfectly grounded and it is manufactured very perfectly and it has no defect. For example, another way, when the Newton rings is like this, it is not the similar size, right? When compared to the first one, it is not similar and the circular sizes is not also same. That's why it suggests that the lens is not perfectly manufactured and it suggests how should be grounded and how should be polished. Then we can get the perfect one from this. This is the applications of the interference, and my other topic is applications of the polarization. The first application of the polarization is to cut the glare. Did you know what is a glare? Anybody? What is a glare? Okay, fine. Can anybody see the headlight of the car at morning? Can anybody? Headlight of the car at morning times. No? Yes. Same scenario is happened at the night. When we see the headlight of the car, we can't see the before us any bicycle and we crash to the bicycle, right? Yeah, this is bigger. We can't see the before us when the light is headlight of the light incident on us. That is called the glare. There is a disturbance in our eye. That's why we can't see the before ones. For example, the scenario is explained now. Consider a bicycle as a source and the light ray coming from the bicycle at night. We all know that at night the pupil expands the iris to allow the more light rays. For example, the pupil controls the iris, then the pupil expands the iris to get more rays pass through it. Then 100% of the light is incident on the retina. Then we can easily see the bicycle. At the same time, there is a headlight curve like this. The rays falls on the iris simultaneously. When the light of the headlight falls on the same at the same time, then the light intensity becomes the 200%. This is because the light intensity of the headlight is very high. That's why the light intensity becomes a 200%. When the light is incident is 200%, then our retina will damage. To avoid this damage, the pupil compresses the iris to the smaller size when compared to the before ones. When the iris becomes the smaller one, the smaller one, the light coming from the headlight intensity is decreased to the some 50%, and the rays coming from the bicycle also increases when compared to the before scenario, and it also becomes the 50 or 25%. The rays coming from the bicycle is reduced to the 25%, and the light when the iris is compressed and the light intensity of the headlight also decreases. So in this scenario, we can't see the bicycle because the rays coming from the bicycle is reduced from the 100 to the 25% light intensity. That's why you can't see the bicycle and you hit the bicycle before you. Okay, fine. How to avoid these accidents? Anyone? Fine. Due to the concept of the polarization, we can avoid this accident. For example, there is a polarites like this. These are polarites. It works on the principle of the polarization. When the main principle of the polarization is to convert the unpolarized light into the polarized light. What is unpolarized light? It has two vibrations and it converts two vibrations into the single vibration. For example, the polarize is placed on above of the headlight. When the light has the both parallel and perpendicular vibrations. The light coming from the headlight. When the polarize is placed above the headlight, the unpolarized light is converted into the single vibration or polarized light. It has only parallel vibrations. From these, the intensity of the unpolarized these light becomes half. For example, it has 100% of the intensity. After it passing through the polarized, it converts into the 50%. Yes, this scenario is here, right? When the polarized is placed above the headlight, the intensity becomes 50%. Before 50%, and it becomes 30 or 40%. Then the iris extends more size when compared to the smaller size. Then the rays coming from the bicycle is also increases, and you can see the bicycle also, and it avoids the accidents happen at the night times. Yeah, this is one of the application, and another one is another application is very more interesting. 3D movies. Did you know? Anybody know about 3D movies? Anybody? Yeah. Okay, fine. How the 3D movies appear to be nearer to our eyes is based on the application of the polarization. Okay, fine. To find about the concept of 3D movies, we want to replicate the seeing of without two eyes. Fine. What is the seeing of with two eyes? Fine. Right? Consider an I1 and I2. And these two eyes facing the other face, and this is the ear 1 and ear 2. When the I1 sees only the part 1 and the I2 sees the only part 2. See, this eye can't see the ear 2 and I2 can't see the ear 1. Okay, fine. I1 has only this angle of part. The I1 can see the only this part 1 and I2 can see the only this part. Okay. This I1 sends the different information to the eye, that is ear 1, and I2 sends the different information what I1 cannot see, that is ear 2. The brain collects these two different information and create a three-dimensional picture of the face, and the brain shows the three-dimensional face like this. This is the replicating of the two eyes. In another way, there is a two I1 and I2. Fine. There is a 2 points. This is the point 1 and point 2. When the I1 sees the point 1 and point 2, what I1 knows means the 2 points are in the same line, right? When the 2 points are in the same line, the I1 cannot justify that the point 1 is in shorter distance and point 2 is in longer distance. It can't justify that. With the help of the I2, it makes an angle with the point P1 and P2. The I2 sends the information to the brain that the P1 makes a smaller angle, so it is before to us. And the E2 sends the another information to the brain what the P2 makes a larger angle, so it is distant from us. This is how the brain makes a three-dimensional picture. This scenario is happened at the 3D movies. Okay, how it happened? Well, can anybody see the 3D movie without your glasses? 3D glasses? Anybody? Yeah. You observe like the picture has the two pictures. The movie has the two pictures. Like when there is a nose like this and there is another nose overlap. There is a picture overlapping on another, and you can see the two different pictures. Okay. This is how. Okay, fine. What is the mechanism? What is the mechanism means? While shooting the picture, there is a camera 1 here and camera 2 here. The camera 1 focusing the same picture and camera 2 also focus on the same picture, but with different angle. It has some different angle and this also has different angle. But what is the mechanism means? This camera 1 done by the E-ray, extraordinary ray, which consists of the only parallel vibrations, and the camera 2 consists done by the O-ray, which has the only perpendicular vibration. When okay, fine. The I1 and I2. When without the 3D glasses, the I1 and I2 sends the same information to the brain. That's why you can see the two different pictures. Okay, to avoid this, what we want to do that the I1 sends the information to the brain what E2 can't sense. Okay. The I2 sends the information to the brain what E1 can't sees. When these two different information is sent to the brain creates a three-dimensional picture. Okay, how will it happen? You all know the 3D glasses, right? 3D glass. In 3D glasses, there is a two pole, right? So what we can see on the like this. It is one of the pole, right? And it is second pole, right? And the one pole, right, it emits the O ray and it allows only the E ray. And second pole is right. Second pole, right, it emits the E ray and it allows only the O ray. It allows only the O ray. Sorry, E ray, and it allows only the O ray. When the E ray passes, what we see that there is a E ray and the E-ray and O-ray captured by the two cameras, camera 1 and camera 2. When you see the pictures, when you see the movie with your 3D glasses, then when the E-ray passes through the polarized one, it passes through it, and the same E-ray passes through the second polarized, it removes the extraordinary ray. At the same time, the O-ray when the O-ray passes through that polarized one, it emits the polarized one emits the O-ray, and the O-ray is allowed to the second polarized. This is how this eye can send the different information to the brain, and with the help of this second polarized, it's the eye sends the different information. With these two different information, the brain can create a three-dimensional picture which is before it will appears like a before to your eyes. Yeah, this is the mechanism of the 3D movies. Yeah, thanks guys.